My Lords, it was suggested earlier in this debate that crossbenchers are a bunch of left-wing intellectuals. I don't think I've ever been accused of being left-wing, and certainly not an intellectual. But that may explain why I intend to strike a very different note. I intend to tackle a subject that many of your lordships love to hate. You've guessed it, immigration. And in particular, and these are the important aspects, and in particular, its impact on and its consequences for the future of our society. And I'll do that in about 4.5 minutes, I think. This government promised at the last election to take back control of immigration and to reduce it. Regrettably, they have failed to do so. The truth is that quite apart from the chaos in the Channel, which I'll leave aside, immigration, in its normal sense, is running out of control. Last year, over 800,000 long-term entry clearances were issued, the highest total since 2005. 2005. How many migrants left in that year? We don't know. And why not? Partly because COVID disrupted travel plans, as we all know, but also because the official statisticians abandoned key parts of the International Passenger Survey, even though they had nothing reliable to replace it. So what we see is a very rapid increase in the inflow, no reliable information on the outflow in the recent year or two. But if we look back over the last 10 years, we know that the Conservative government promised in 2010 to reduce immigration to less than 100,000 a year. Actually, it was allowed to rise to an average of 230,000 over that period. And if we look back over the last 20 years, there are 3 metrics which illustrate the impact of immigration on such a scale. And these are not in doubt, my lords. They're not very often referred to, but they are not in doubt and they're not challenged. The first is that the UK population has grown by nearly 8 million, and 80% or more of that increase was due to immigrants and their subsequent children. Second, the share of births to one or more foreign parents has almost doubled in England and Wales to about 35%. 35%. And thirdly, the ethnic minority population of Great Britain, and I include in that migrants from the European Union, has almost doubled to 21%. We now find that in London, immigrants on that definition are 56% of the population, a majority, and that in Birmingham, 48% and Manchester, 43% are not very far behind. My lords, what of the future? The share of ethnic minority children in state-funded schools is now about 1/3. In 20 years from now, on reasonable assumptions, they could well become the majority in our schools. Meanwhile, on a wider scale, there are 3 well-known academic projections which have put the white British population in 40 years' time from now between 55% and 65%. Between 55 and 65%. My lords, that means, whether you like it or not, that our grandchildren would in their lifetimes have become a minority in what I would call their own country. Now just think about that for a minute. Is that really what we want to see for the future of our country? Some will say yes, but there are an awful lot of people, especially the less rich, the less comfortable, who would not welcome it at all. My lords, we're already seeing the impact of these very rapid changes on our political system. I won't say much about that, it's not my business really, but all parties are clearly increasingly concerned to attract the immigrant vote. As a result, the immigration rules already under pressure from industry have been steadily weakened, and we're actually getting close to the point where there is no effective control. Meanwhile, although the salience of the matter varies with time and with what else is going on, a YouGov poll found in 2021, last year, 55% of the public said that reducing immigration should be a high or medium priority for the UK. And as I pointed out before in this House, that amounts to about 30 million adults. The Dems don't like that, but it is actually the case. My Lords, it's no use blaming the white British. The noble Baroness Casey, in her recent and comprehensive study of immigration to the UK, put it rather well. She said this: "It isn't racist to say that the pace of change from immigration in recent years has been too much for some communities. People are understandably uncomfortable when the character and makeup of a town change out of all recognition within 5 or 10 years." That was her view, and I happen to share it. My Lords, to conclude, this massive continuing inflow could well lead to serious social tensions in Britain, as we are already seeing in France. Even in Sweden, there have been serious riots. Indeed, their Prime Minister said very recently that integration is failing and that certain communities in Sweden live, quote, in completely different realities. You may think that there are some places in the UK that are similar. So, my Lords, I hope that in the coming session, this House will turn its attention to the crucial impact of current levels of immigration on the whole future of our society. It's not too late to act. Policies are available. What is needed is the political will to address an issue that so many have preferred to avoid.